Hi guys, it's Nicole, and today I am sharing my take on sketch number 8. This is from a bundle of sketches that Allison Davis from Scrapbook Generation designed. I believe the Facebook group is currently on the last week of the sketches, so sketch number 20. I am very behind, and I'm kind of allowing myself to just be okay with that. I've got a lot of stuff going on, like creatively, personally, kids in school, house stuff. So I'm just kind of taking things as I get the time to do it. I actually finished this layout probably 2 weeks ago. I'm just now kind of getting to the point where I can tackle the video. I also have sketches number 9 and 10, both sort of in progress. I tend to kind of do that, work on different stages of these layouts kind of at the same time. So like paper and photos together, any stitching together, and then kind of finish things up all at once. I also just picked up my October kits for the scrap room, so I'm kind of excited to get started on those. So I'm just kind of all over the place right now. Sketch number 8, I have to tell you, anytime I see paper sort of shifted on a diagonal, I have like an internal cringe. And there was a sketch in the 2-page bundle where everything was tilted on a diagonal as well, and I mentioned it in that video, that for some reason turning things on a diagonal just, it's not my favorite, but I went ahead and followed the sketch. I will tell you that most of this layout was probably 2 or 3 days just spent on dealing with cutting squares, picking out paper, trying to figure out a way to arrange them, and then stitching on the layout. This layout I actually dragged all over the house. It went with me to school pickup. Just kind of anytime I had 20 or 30 minutes, I would do a couple lines of stitching. And if you're in this class and you have these sketches, you kind of know what I'm talking about. And I think my biggest problem was I would do the stitching and I would be like, okay, I think I'm done. And then I would kind of step back and I'd look at it and I'd be like, no, it needs more. So I just kind of took the time to fill in with more squares if I felt like I needed more squares, more stitching if I felt like I needed more stitching, and just kind of got my creative funk to kind of go away by taking a little bit more time and just enjoying the process. I will say that arranging lots and lots of different pattern papers in a way that seems random but is somehow well balanced is not something that I'm good at. It's not something that I enjoy. So I kind of stepped away from that. I kind of figured out where I thought I would be placing things. I pulled out this die set from My Favorite Things and decided that I wanted to make some of my own embellishments to go with this layout. And I made sure to kind of figure out where I was going to place my photos, mark the area on my paper with a pencil, and kind of get a game plan. And I did kind of bounce around as far as what I filmed. These clips are in order of when I filmed them, so you can kind of tell what I'm bouncing around to. If I am struggling to find a way to arrange the pattern papers, I will sort of stop, set it aside, go to a different creative aspect of the process and work on that for a little bit instead. So I took that die set and just some black cardstock and cut a couple layers from that. I also used some black glitter cardstock that was, I think it's from Michael's. It was left over from another project from years and years and years ago. And I used that to cut out the bats. I think I did all of them. This is the paper that I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure I did the tree and the fence with this as well, but I'm not 100% sure. I did. Okay. Like I said, it's been a while. And then again, this layout took me days. Like you can see other stuff on the side of my desk that was from other layouts. Like I was just kind of all over the place by the time I got to this sketch, but I definitely enjoyed the process. And this was sort of the layout that was the turning point that I was talking about a couple videos ago about kind of getting my creative mojo back and being excited to create things and sort of coming up with different ways to use things and pulling out tools and just pulling out different techniques and stuff. This was sort of the layout that kind of launched that. And I think it was just the fact that I took a little more time, slowed down, just kind of played with things, and just kind of went with it. So I did the stacked die cuts with these as well. For the ghost, it's just like 2 or 3 layers of white cardstock, and then the top layer is a like white and very pale gray tone-on-tone stripe from a Doodlebug pad. I wanted them to be white, but I also wanted them to have some interest, and I thought I had some white glitter cardstock. Turns out I don't, so I need to write that down and go hunting for some the next time I put in an order. And then I also kind of worried about just having too much glitter on top of glitter. This is roughly kind of my plan here for these squares. And I don't think I recorded it, but you can kind of see that there's an opening that's just plain white paper, kind of in the middle, right? I did not want to go through the ordeal that I did in the 2-page class with the layout. I want to say it was sketch like 18, where it had like all the hexagons. When I went to put all those on my background paper, I put them down and peeled them up 3 or 4 different times, and it was just a nightmare. So for this layout, I actually just took a sheet of printer paper and taped my squares onto that and kind of used that to figure out my arrangement, where I wanted everything laid out. And then because these aren't like a full rectangle filled with all these little squares, I just very roughly cut behind them and cut off that copy paper. And then it left me with sort of this giant piece that I could then transfer over to my background paper. And I just very loosely attached it to the background because I knew that I was going to be stitching on it. I took out the stitching from the video because, again, I did that over the course of a lot of days, and I dragged it around my house. And so I was like, you know what? You guys have seen me stitch. It's just straight lines. I don't think that by leaving it out of the video that you're really missing anything. So, and again, this is usually my favorite part of a layout process, is sort of the photos and paper and kind of getting a game plan. And then I tend to not like the embellishing. So when it came to that point, I struggled a little bit, but I just kind of went with what my loose original plan was. And then I decided I would fill in some more interest with just various stickers and things from my stash. I basically just went and pulled out Bella Boulevard Halloween stickers, Doodlebug stuff. I found these really, really old rub-ons. I don't even know who they're from. I can't read it from here. Heidi something. Is it Heidi Swap? I don't know. No, I don't know. Heidi Grace? I don't know. Super, super old. But they had little teeny tiny bats on them with like funny looking eyes. So I was like, I kind of want to see if these are going to work. And it was fun to find something in my stash that I had bought a long time ago with the intent to use, had never used, and managed to find a current day application to use them. So I kind of got like that satisfaction from that. The letters for costume are a white glitter, again, super old, found them in my letter stickers. Originally, I thought I would make some dickers and like die cut my own letters. But at this point, I was on like day 4 or 5, and I just kind of, this was where I was starting to get like a bunch of ideas to go with my September scrap room kit. So I was really wanting to finish this and just kind of move on, but yet keep that kind of creative mojo rolling. I've mentioned this before. When I do titles, I like to mix up different types of letter stickers, different sizes, different colors, different shapes, that kind of thing. The costume letters are sort of flat. I did go back and add glue to them because they were not the stickiest, but I was also trying to get them to adhere to glitter paper. So I just stuck a little bit of some liquid glue on the back and it worked out pretty good. The Doodlebug little like square letters, those I typically like to pop up. I feel like they get a little lost if I put them flat to the layout. And then I used some Doodle Pops, which are like those pre-made foam popped up type stickers that Doodlebug puts out. I used some of those die cut ghosts that I had, and then I used some border stickers at the top and the bottom of the layout. I definitely don't think that where I'm at with the layout right now is sort of what my original kind of mental picture was. But overall, I like it. It's chaotic, it's fun, it's on theme with my photos, that kind of thing. So for me, it works. I did fill in with some more of those die cut ghosts that I had, and then here is where I am going to go ahead and use some of these little teeny tiny bats from this rub-on sheet. And I had a couple that didn't transfer the greatest, and I don't know if that's the age of the rub-ons or skill of the user. I don't really know, but they were okay. I liked the fact that because they were rub-ons, because they're super flat, they sort of go to the kind of far back layer, in a sense, of the layout. So you've got some stuff that's more in the foreground, and then you've got stuff that's pushed into the background, and I felt like they did a really good job of being something that was interesting in the background, if that makes sense. So I just took those and kind of put them in little openings and kind of mixed them in with the different little clusters. And I had found, like the bat on the very bottom of the layout, I found little Doodlebug enamel shapes that were eyeballs. So I took a set of those and put them on the bat so that he kind of matched up with some of the other elements going on. Like the spider has funny little eyes. The cat kind of has funny looking eyes. And then I have some Doodlebug Halloween gems. Again, these are super, super old. This is the type of layout where I like mixing manufacturers. I like mixing new supplies with old supplies. I like just kind of digging through and seeing what catches my eye, what do I think will work for my specific layout. I do tend to pull out way more stuff than actually ends up on the layout, but it's kind of a refresher to see what I have and kind of remind myself of, oh, I haven't done these photos yet. I need to remember to come back to these supplies and do something with them again. My journaling, I kept it simple. I ended up just having about 2 lines worth of journaling, so I cut them out into thin little strips. And I prefer journaling strips, I'd say probably 60 to 70% of the time, because I can nestle them almost anywhere. So for me, I felt like they would be sort of good to put up in this top area, kind of going between the cluster on the left and the cluster on the right, and kind of make them feel a little bit more attached to each other. I don't know how to say that better. But yeah, so that is my completed layout. I'm hoping to finish sketch number 9 and 10 and get those posted this week. As always, I appreciate you guys stopping by, taking time out of your day to watch my videos, and chatting with me in the comments. So I will catch you guys on a layout, hopefully later this week.